Hi, I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation, and I'm going to share with you what are the 10 best reasons to fix your broken marriage. I think this is a very important video for you especially because you're uncertain right now, or you wouldn't be searching this title. And this is a question that comes up at the Marriage Foundation quite often. Is it worth fixing my marriage? Should I bother, or should I just move on? So let's get into this. And I have put together 10 really good reasons. Number one, the best reason of all is because you can. You may not realize, because in our world there is so much bad information coming to us about our marriages. We're told that if this is going wrong, your marriage is going to end. If that is this way, it means your marriage is going to end. And hopelessness, fear, it's unbelievable. There is so little information out there that is encouraging, that says, yeah, you can do it. At the Marriage Foundation, that's what we're all about. You can do it. Of course, there are times when you can't, but those are very rare. And people will write into me and they'll say, what about this? What about that? Sure, there's anecdotal occurrences that make it difficult, but those are rare. Now, why do I know that you can? First of all, let me be clear with you. I haven't always been here helping people save their marriages. I was a divorce mediator, for God's sake. I used to get people coming in after they went to marriage counseling for the purpose of divvying up their stuff and setting up sharing time for their children. It was very sad. And that's not what I want for you. And it's not something that has to happen. But before I shifted my practice, I got a deep understanding of what marriage actually is. It begins with two premises that we never talk about. And those premises are the reasons we got married in the first place. Now, if I ask you, why did you want to get married in the first place? This is based on my experience, because I met with hundreds of people, and I would always ask them, the first thing you'll do is you'll tell me how you met him, you met her, you fell in love, he was right, she was right, he's this way, she's that way. That's one layer, and it's usually the first thing that comes to mind. The second thing that comes to mind is, I want companionship, I want to have children, sort of the mundane reasons for getting married. And yet, when I presented to my clients what I discovered to be the real reasons why you get married, everyone deferred to me. And I'll tell you what those two reasons are. Number one, you got married to be happy. Not just happy, oh, I'm getting married happy. Not just happy, isn't this a wonderful wedding happy? You got married so you would be happier every single day of your lives. Think about it. Who gets married in order for their marriages to go down the tube slowly or to become blasé? It's not your intuitive expectation. Your intuitive expectation, and it's correct, is to be happier every single day of your lives. The second reason is what makes you happy. Love. I'm not talking about I love my car kind of love. I'm not talking about I love to cook kind of love. I'm talking about that feeling that you have, that is in your heart, that your mind cannot wrap around. We're not taught about love. In fact, Western psychology, which kind of owns the franchise on marriage counseling, says that love is an abstract thought, and I beg to differ. And I can prove it to you. You know, You've gone to weddings, not just your own. You've gone to weddings, and at every single wedding, there is this experience when you feel so much love welling up in your heart that your mind cannot take it. That's real stuff. That's the real you. You're a soul. Western psychology doesn't want to say that because they don't go there. They don't want to talk about, they think calling you a soul is talking about God. Well, I'm not doing a religious thing here. You are a soul. You have a body, you have a mind. Occasionally, I worked with an atheist and I could see they tensed up when I said, you're a soul. I said, okay, think of yourself as higher consciousness that owns the mind and owns your body. Okay, they could live with that. Don't care how you call it. You're a soul. That soul, the nature of the soul, is pure love. It's why people meditate, because they still their body, they still their mind, they feel themselves as a soul. You're supposed to use marriage at that level in order to experience that love, which brings definite joy into your life that is ever expanding. Listen to this word, ever expanding. Love has no boundary. And the happiness is ever increasing. It actually, one of the biggest challenges that we have when we're teaching people, either in our books, or if you take the course for men, or you take the course for women, it's hard because the mind doesn't want to go there. We forget that we're in charge of our minds. We have free will, and we're supposed to go there. We're supposed to go there. And marriage is this unique opportunity in life where you're in a sacred space, just the two of you, where you could open your heart completely without fear of getting your pockets picked. You see, the world is tough, but your marriage is not. It's ideal. And that's what you're supposed to be feeling all the time. So you can have that. The reason why you are discouraged is because the world does not give us good information. It's telling us, oh, this is hopeless, this is that. They're wrong. Over the years, take a look at our reviews. Over the years, thousands and thousands of people have discovered that a happy marriage is doable. So don't listen to those clowns. Don't. Listen to me. You know, I even set it up where you could take the course for 3 days without ever paying anything. And then it's guaranteed because you need to test this. You need to discover that you can bring your marriage back because you can. So that's the number one reason to fix your broken marriage, is because you can. All right. I get carried away, don't I? Number 2, your personal happiness. When you fix your broken marriage, I am not talking about fixing this problem or that circumstance or this nonsensical thing or ending arguing, which you will be doing. You're going to be done with arguing forever. That is going to just be gone. No more fighting, no more criticism, no more complaining. All of that's going to be wiped away because our philosophy is very simple. It's tied to the deepest and highest principles of life. The fact that you can be happy means that you should be happy. The fact that you have free will, and it is a fact, means that you should be utilizing that free will to be happy. When you get married and you're in what I call the sacred space of marriage, it's the ideal venue for increasing your personal happiness. I'm walking on clouds all the time. And so are the people who take the courses and read the books. The people who learn this stuff get it, they use it, and individually feel happiness. Now, it's also one of the reasons why the courses are broken into genders. Men and women see life differently because we're biologically different, so that psychophysiological impact means that we need to hear things differently too. So we address it, and you will gain from it. You should be happy. Why would you settle for less? And the people who use pot or alcohol to get happy, I don't blame them. They're running away from a miserable existence because they don't feel the love. When you feel love, you don't want to mess it up. You don't want alcohol. You don't want drugs. You want love, and you want that happiness. Number 3, you want to learn how to love unconditionally. Learn to love unconditionally? What the heck does that mean? It means that we're not taught that. Yes, we are souls. We have a mind. We have a body. But we've never given a deliberate, structured, methodical path for experiencing ourselves. Ourself is the soul, but we don't know how to do that. Now, I don't teach you how to meditate in the courses or in the books, but I teach you how to use external things to influence your internal mind, which will bring you unconditional love. How to tap into your heart. You need to understand how the mind works. You need to understand how the heart works. You need to understand the composite of who you are, body, mind, and soul. When you you wouldn't drive your car without understanding it, at least a little bit, and yet you got married without understanding marriage, yourself, or your spouse. We'll correct that. So this is a huge benefit. To learn how to love unconditionally is huge. It's a great reason to be married. It is, if not the number one reason. It's a great reason. All right, number 4. Being married allows you to create a harmonious home life. You know, environment, you have willpower, and your willpower is dynamic, it's strong. You know what's stronger? Your environment. Environment is stronger than willpower because it will wear you down. So you want to create this cause and effect, this cycle of building up the happiness by influencing your home life. Right now, your home life is probably miserable. You can't wait to go to work. You can't wait to do sports. You can't wait to get on TV. Just, they talk vacation. Vacation. I'm on vacation 24/7, 365 days a year. Yeah, I like to go places and do things, but I don't want to get away. Because I created an environment, and the people who study what we have create an environment called marriage. You live in your marriage 24/7, and when you create it to be a hive of happiness, your home becomes a hive of happiness. You're happy. You can do this with marriage, and that's what you're supposed to do. That's what marriage is all about. All right, number 5, provide a strong foundation for your children. This is humongous. I used to believe that you should stay married for your children, but let's make it even better. Instead of just being married for your children, let's also have a great marriage. I've turned that around. Now I'm saying, you should have an amazing marriage. And then you don't even have to think about your kids. You don't have to stay together for your kids. You're going to stay together because of the love that you have, the happiness that you share, the vibration in your home, the intimacy that keeps you just filled with joy. Marriage is such a unique venue. You don't want to start again. You already have so much invested with your spouse. You can make it work. Let's go back to number one, because you can. You just have to learn how. But providing a strong foundation for your kids is important too, because we know this is like documented. This isn't like normal psychological studies that are contrived. This is real deal, where they know factually that the majority of kids, and I'm not talking about 50%, way bigger than that, who come from broken families, those kids just don't do as well. They don't. They find sex sooner, they get into drugs, alcohol, shoplifting. 85% or 90%, I can't remember the number off the top of my head, excuse me. But a huge percentage of people who attempt suicide came from broken families. A huge percentage of people who end up in prison come from broken families. Now, I'm not suggesting that if you break up your family, your kids will commit suicide. That's not what I'm saying. But across the board, they don't do as well in school, they don't do well choosing a partner, which is pretty obviously understandable. So you create a foundation for your kids, not just by remaining married, but by remaining married well. All the love, all the happiness, the home, the harmony. It's a perfect nest for your children to grow up in, isn't it? That's not hard. Next, 6, security. I'm talking about your individual security. When we get a divorce, we are losing our sense of safety. We don't know which way to turn, because getting married was literally the biggest choice you've ever made in your entire life. And it's going to fail. And that brings us to number 7, self-confidence. It's very difficult. Very difficult. It's not impossible. But to regain your self-confidence when you have failed in the largest commitment you've made in your life, to love somebody for the rest of your life unconditionally. You can see what it probably does in your mind. It messes with you big time. Now, we push it down into our subconscious mind, but it percolates up because it's unresolved. And it can't be resolved in therapy. It has to be resolved by mentally proving to yourself that you can choose well, that you can do well. Don't put yourself through that. Even if this is your second marriage, if you take what you have now and you turn it into marriage heaven, all the past stuff, it like burns out. It's all gone. Because we work with many people who are second marriages. Not many who are third, but many who are in their second marriage. And they're scared. They're scared of failing again. Turn it around. Next, 8, your legacy for future generations. You know, we want to look at our family tree and see where we came from. Our future generations don't want to look back and go, well, you know, I had this stepmother, I had this stepfather, I had this, I had that. You want to give to your future generations the gift of a solid basis. Don't you? It's nice. Not huge, I know. It's not like number 1 because you can. but it's important too. Number 9. I personally think this is really important, and I'm going to explain why. Number 9 is spiritual development. This is never a consideration. If you go to a Western therapist or almost anybody, it's just not considered. But you see, remember I was talking about the different levels? There's a level, maybe it was in a different video. So we live in different stratas of consciousness. Our lowest consciousness is the consciousness of survival, the primal consciousness. And it's a state of mind. We don't live in any one level of consciousness all the time. We're usually a blend. People who live in the lowest primal level are really bad people. The psychopaths who just don't care. It's all, I want this, I want that. I don't mind killing, I don't mind destroying. Makes no difference to them. They live in the primal level, and we all still carry that around. It becomes, shades of, and like that. So the second is more mundane. It's where the greatest number of people on this planet live. They're born, they have a childhood, they go to school, they get a job, they get a spouse, they retire, they die. Almost like chickens in a chicken coop. And there's a few who really try, so they become real giving people. Maybe they start a foundation like I did. Maybe they're just good to their neighbors and they feel good about themselves. But real spiritual growth, because you are a soul, is learning how to love unconditionally. Because in this again, it's not religious, it's spiritual. It's not about a particular religion, it's universal. We all come from God. He created us in His image. Virtually every scripture says so. That doesn't mean He has hands and legs. It means that we're created in the image of love. That's our soul. Of bliss, of joy. We are joy itself, if you break it down. When you learn how, in marriage, to love unconditionally, you are aligning your mind with your soul. The more you do that, the more joy you have. I wake up some mornings, I'm just like blissed out. My wife too. And many, many, many people who have taken the course or read the book, they too feel this. They've learned how. And that's what marriage provides. To me, that's the greatest use of marriage, because at the end of the day, you're still two people. You're on this path of marriage together, but you never become one. Yes, your souls merge somewhat, there's overlap, and you know what that's like in your own marriage. Sometimes your husband or wife knows exactly what you're thinking. And that's the beginnings of those things. But when you deliberately do it by learning a methodical process, wow. Wow. And so to me, number 9 is the best. Number 10 is the best for most people, though. You have companionship with your soulmate till the end of your day. It's so poetic. It's so romantic. It's so beautiful. How can you argue with that? It is so beautiful. And you could have all of these going on at the same time, and that's the idea. We're human beings. We have free choice. We have an amazing consciousness that could divert and spread and enjoy and not like but not get mad, not judge but not want to do that. We have so many capabilities, but we don't explore them. And yet within marriage, we can. I don't want you to let your marriage pull you down. I want you to fix your broken marriage. For these 10 reasons, and maybe 100 more. I want you to have the blessings of a happy marriage. And so I'm doing what I can do to show you how. Thank you for spending time with me. Leave a like, leave a comment, say a prayer for us. God bless and take care. Thank you.